Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 215. I'm Connor Murphy, here with Grace Matthews and the Hammer in Springfield, Missouri. Hi, you two.
Hello, how are ya?
Hey, what's going on?
Same old. Not much change here. A little bit is opening up over time, but, still standing in lineups.
Well, we live in the crazy place that actually is just now hitting its peak after everybody goes back to work. We have more cases in Missouri and even in Greene County than ever. Ooh. We also are the proud owners of, we don't own it, it's the Hammer and I, but Springfield. The Great Clips, where 150 some customers were exposed by 2 employees.
Oh, lovely.
We're also the proud to have Lake of the Ozarks and the pool parties where people were not social distancing.
Ah.
And all of this has been all over the national news, as it should be. Even if you're not worried about yourself getting this, you really shouldn't be an idiot and taunt people, because other people can get it and die.
Yeah, exactly. Stay the hell at home if you're sick. Bottom line.
Exactly. And at least appear to be social distancing.
Right.
Having 1,000 people around one pool,
right.
And everybody's drinking and sweating and exchanging bodily fluids. It's just not a good idea.
Right.
They wanted to have a good party. We get that. I know they've been cooped up for 5, 6, 7 weeks. We get that. But my God, have some control.
Yeah.
You got the rest. Most of these people are 21. They've got the rest of their life. It's not like one weekend's going to change.
Exactly.
Their life,
And would you want to passively even kill somebody? No, surely not. These are not that kind of kids.
Right.
But, you just can't have that many people together.
Well, there's the invincibility complex that goes with being
right? Exactly. Yeah, you get the group mentality and the mob mentality once you get something like that, and it gets out of control.
You get all those mentalities going at the same time.
Hey, but party.
That happens.
Hey!
Yeah, I miss those too.
Yeah, sort of.
Thank God we
sort of.
Sort of. I don't miss the morning after.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I got a little bit of mixed news on the jobless claims, and there's a lot of misinformation going on out there, and that's one thing we like to do here is we like to bring up topics and we think a little bit, and we hope that you're out there thinking a little bit, and maybe all these heads together can come up with something so smart.
Right.
So, 2.1 million people had first-time jobless claims of unemployment.
Okay,
that was last week's numbers, okay? Those numbers came out today. And that's bad. That's not good, okay?
Right.
However, you can make that sound really bad until you realize that since they declared this a pandemic, which was on March 11th, we remember that day, because it was also the Hammer's birthday.
Right.
Okay? And 2 weeks later, just about everything shut down, right?
Right.
Okay, so 41 million people lost jobs during that time. And that's really horrible. Okay, 4 million people went back to work last week. We now are already down to 21 million people are unemployed. That means we put 20 million people back to get work.
Right.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, considering not everything is open yet.
Oh yeah, and there's lots of cities and states that aren't very open at all.
Yeah, well, some of the biggest employers are schools, and
absolutely.
Yeah,
good point.
There's nowhere near the amount of people going back. I don't think anybody's really started yet for school.
No, and I don't know if colleges will go back in the fall. They will go back online. Most of them are talking about not going back in 2021 until the fall.
Right.
Or, the rest of this year. So we'll have to see. But you've got a good point. A lot of medical workers are out because they can't see their regular patients.
Right.
I know one of our hospitals furloughed 700 employees on Monday and fired about 118 yesterday.
Ouch.
Because people aren't coming in for regular medical care.
Right.
And so there's nothing for them to do.
We've started up with elective surgeries, I think it was last week. So everything's rolling once again. Dentists, I believe, are not back to work here yet.
Yeah, they set up my teeth cleaning for next Wednesday, but I had to go through a health profile.
Oh, lovely.
So that's going to be like the first time. But even though some of these things are opening up, the dentist, the girl that I went through the health profile with, she said that most people don't want to come in yet. Just like the elective surgeries. Most people don't want their elective surgeries yet. My hairdresser said most people still don't want to come in and get their hair done.
Right.
And that was before the Great Clips incident. So I think people are a little eerie of some things.
There's still a lot of unknowns out there. I think that's the biggest problem. They still don't have a lot of answers on the virus about, you get, is it 6 feet? Is it 9 feet? Is it 12 feet? How does it spread? How long does it stay? You get conflicting reports. And I think everybody just says, well, I'll just stay at home.
Well, and we don't really even know, is it a blood disease or a lung disease? We've heard both, haven't we?
Yeah, lots of conflicting information coming from doctors and scientists, and one says one thing and the other says another thing. So it's impossible to know. And of course, the media has just fear-mongered the shit out of everything, right? So,
oh yeah,
yeah, people are scared.
do believe if you've watched CNN and MSNBC, you're probably less likely to leave your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because they are fear-mongering. Okay, this is a big story. Trump has just signed, within the last hour, an executive order to fight censorship on social media platforms. He wants to remove the liability protection that they have so enjoyed all this time. Meaning, and I'll tell you what prompted it, the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess, is Jack from Twitter decided to fact check one of Trump's tweets. Okay, now, normally the platforms do not fact check politicians because you're kind of opening up a can of worms and it's not that easy to fact check, okay, because most things aren't cut and dry.
Right.
So it's been, even Zuckerberg has left it alone. And in fact, in our interview yesterday, he's kind of perturbed that Jack did it. Okay? He says Jack shouldn't have done it. Okay, so you have that. At the same time last week, you had Google censoring YouTube posts that have negative comments or narratives about China.
Right.
Which included our show.
Yep.
So Trump says enough is enough. I have mixed emotions about this because I like the fact that we're somewhat protected because we can be given misinformation and we can say something and it's not right. We certainly try not to do that.
Right. But you never know.
You don't. I mean, you're only as good as your source.
Right.
Okay? And sources can have agendas.
Absolutely.
So, it's back to the same old question we wrote about. We wrote a big article about this back when we did Hot.
Right.
Okay, is a social media platform journalism? Is it media? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, media's in the name, social media. So, yeah, I would say they are media.
But should we call them out on censorship when it's partisan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Proving it might be tough, but
Well, it should never become political. It doesn't matter, Democratic, Republican, they should not call out anything that is political. You got to let that go because, my God, those guys I don't think can talk without saying something that's not entirely true, or like the president, we are not privy to everything he knows.
Yeah, sometimes we think he's lying.
He knows, yeah, and who's telling
And we find out later he's not.
Exactly. How many times does that happen?
yeah.
Where he said, well, this is going to happen, and everybody's like, he's full of shit. And find out 2 months later that he was telling the exact
Well, boy,
truth.
I mean, just like when he goes, I'm getting wiretapped, and everybody's like, oh please.
Yeah, right.
We don't even do wiretaps anymore. Well, guess what? He was being wiretapped.
Yeah.
Both figuratively and literally.
Exactly.
So, Hammer's got a good point there. I don't know.
I agree.
Well, I think next week some heads are going to roll because next Wednesday, Netflix will start airing a series called Filthy Rich, the Jeffrey Epstein story. Now, I believe it's going to be in 5 parts. They are calling it a molestation pyramid scheme. And I know, Connor, this is something you've followed quite a bit. They said this was a hard sell, that some places passed this up. Of course, Netflix will buy anything like this. I mean, so you can always depend on them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they shouldn't have bought it. I'm just saying where others will pass it up, they will. But they say it was very hard for the producers.
Yeah, no
part
kidding.
of it, because this was sick. And I'm wondering how much they're going to expose about Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still alive.
The doobie is going to hit the fan.
Well, this is going to be like making a movie on the mob.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's ought to be some people's legs cut off on this because I think this is so deep and so scattered with bodies that if they really bring all the truth out on this, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Now the director, Lisa Bryant, hints that, this is not going to look good for Bill Clinton or Prince Andrew. And she says, we traveled the globe to deliver the most complete and intimate look at Epstein survivors. My goal was to untangle the convicted pedophile's lies and manipulations without losing sight of the women and the young girls he preyed upon. By sharing these truths here, they are presenting international audiences with an unfiltered account of what they experienced.
Wow.
Bless their hearts for coming forward.
Brave.
I don't know. We don't exactly have Netflix, but this story has interested me enough. I may have to get it.
Yeah.
I may have to get that. So.
Uh-oh. And then it starts. The binge watching.
Yeah, we're not big binge watchers.
Well, see, this way you have an excuse to binge drink.
Yeah.
You got to get in the mood to watch a show like this. So
yeah, well,
you just extend happy hour.
You have to tap it down, the horror of watching this, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so in light of Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, all of this, my question is, where the hell is Hillary? Now, she was all over everything, endorsing Biden. I
Yeah,
mean, even
Uncle
during
Joe.
the quarantine,
Yeah.
and suddenly she has disappeared.
Yeah,
My
you're right.
guess is this is the reason why.
Hell, she's trying to find Bubba. She's trying to find Bill. She can't find him to say, Bill, tell me what really happened.
Well,
Yeah.
I keep
Yeah,
hearing,
you think that's going to fly?
well, apparently, he's got this little abode down near his museum and presidential library in Hope, Arkansas, which is not terribly far from here. So, you hear rumors. And supposedly he has like this house or something built into the earth,
Oh,
like, so they party on the rooftop.
yeah. I see. So sort of
So
like
if you can't find Bill, supposedly that's where he's at.
yeah, sort of like moles, I guess.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah. That's a perfect
That's Bill.
description of him and his sexual behavior.
He leaves his tracks everywhere, remember? On blue dresses, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. And his curved body parts.
Yeah. Oh
So,
jeez.
Jennifer told us that. So yeah. Okay. As we move on to Congress, which is just about as twisted. Okay, if everybody's going back to work, okay, and I'm kind of implanting my own bias here. I understand that. Should Congress come back to work like everybody else, or should they vote from home?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I sort of think if they still want to draw a paycheck, they should go back to work.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. Same thing going on in Canada. They're working from, I don't know, home somehow. It's ridiculous.
Which
Get back
is
to work.
truthfully,
Like
in
the
the
rest.
United States, it's unconstitutional. Therefore, the GOP leaders of Congress sued Nancy Pelosi over this today because they took a vote from home. Proxy votes are not supposed to take place according to the U.S. Constitution. Now, when I've been a little on the fence about this because at first we thought the coronavirus was going to get much worse.
Okay.
And I thought maybe they might have to proxy vote. But the world is going back to work.
Right.
I think Congress and Nancy should get out from underneath those two big refrigerators in her kitchen and get back to D.C.
Right.
She can't go until she eats all the ice cream.
That could take her a while.
Oh, I know. That's why she's there.
I know.
She's not coming back.
There's a lot of ice cream there for that little woman. So
She's got stock in it.
apparently, yeah, she usually has stock in a lot of things. Okay, so that brings me to the other question of the day. We always like to throw these questions out there. If 0.3% of the COVID-19 victims died, was the shutdown worth it? What do you think, Hammer?
This is a very tough question, but I think that if we did not shut down the country, I think it would have spread like wildfire. I think that not when Trump shut down the Chinese from flying into New York and into the United States, I think that stopped a lot because I think they were the main characters of it. And if people are visiting New York, getting it, taking it back to the Midwest and Southwest, and I think that you would have had pockets everywhere, and as the pockets are spread out more, it would have spread more, and I think it would have been very ugly. I think we could have lost as many as maybe 5-10 million people.
Well, that's a good point because was the shutdown of America as fruitful as the shutdown of our borders and allowing people to fly in? What do you think, Connor?
I got something to say on that. Basically, our borders between Canada and the U.S. have been shut down for 2 months almost going on, and they're not opening up. I don't think until mid to end June. I think. Yet we've got flights coming in from China with no screening.
Oh my gosh, that's a bad idea, I think.
There you go. Like, so,
Yeah.
to me,
But
just looking
Trudeau
at
is
that.
definitely in China's pocket right now.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. He said it live. He envied what the government was doing there. That was a couple of years back already. So there you go.
Gosh.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
how would you like to be on the record for that statement?
Yeah.
Well, apparently he doesn't mind,
He
huh?
doesn't mind at all.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Okay, Biden made some remarks on the Breakfast Club about if you were a Trump supporter and you were black, you really weren't black at all.
Said
Now,
by
I
the
don't
whitest guy in history.
Yeah, I don't know what someone like Biden knows about being black. I certainly don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know, and also a black person doesn't know maybe what it's like to be me. I mean, we truly don't know.
Right.
We have to have empathy, and we have to be caring and aware and basically not stupid and racist. I mean, Biden is coming across to me like a racist. It's not the first time. I doubt it will be the last time. Why does he get a free pass?
I think his mouth was wagging before his brain was really thinking with that remark. Honestly, it blew up here in Canada too. It was quite disgusting to read. Like, what are you thinking?
You know, Joe does open his mouth, like you said, and words come out that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. And you know, the Dems have a track record of making all these promises to the black voters.
That's true.
They have done it year after year after year, and they lie to them. And the minute the election is over, they could care less what happens to them. They don't pass any legislation for them. It's just all a smokescreen.
Yeah.
They overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
And it's sick. And there are there are getting to be a lot more black Republicans who are coming on television and having talk shows that are rallying behind this point that they have been lied to. And it's just like Trump said. And I thought this was one of his best lines of the whole campaign. Vote for me and try our regime. What have you got to lose? You haven't gained anything the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And you had Obama.
I hope he didn't call it a regime now.
Oh, well, all right.
That was great. I love it.
You see what I'm saying?
You had an Uncle Joe moment talking about it.
Yeah, I guess I did. But it kind of felt like it was a regime when Obama was running it.
Yeah, well, he didn't do much. But now, guys like Charmaine of the Breakfast Club are calling for not only a female VP, but now they want a black VP. So my guess is he'll do it. He'll fold. And it'll be Stacey Abrams, which is a ridiculous choice because she's never won an election. I mean, they keep praising her, and I keep saying, for what?
Yeah.
I mean, how ridiculous, but okay, if that's what you want, do it.
I can't wrap my head around any of their decisions.
I can't either.
None of them.
That's just like the pickle
nuts.
loser.
It is. It's just ridiculous. I don't know, what to think. But racism is certainly... It's certainly horrible, and I do believe that we've made a lot of headway. I'm old.
Right.
I remember awful things. I really do. When I was a small kid, I remember going on vacation and driving through Arkansas, and there's still being places where it said black people couldn't go to the bathroom, and I had no idea what the heck that was about because, first of all, sadly, we didn't have any black people in our town.
Right.
I didn't know what the heck, that meant, and I couldn't imagine that you would ban a person. I do remember, thinking that. Yesterday in Central Park, or maybe it was the day before, there's an area where people birdwatch. A black man was birdwatching. A white woman was walking her dog. In the birdwatch area, you are supposed to have your dog on a leash. Makes sense. They don't scare the birds off. And he asked the woman, "Will you please put your bird on a leash, your dog on a leash?" And she just went ballistic.
Right.
Taped the whole thing. She called the police and said that that a black man was there, an African American man was there, threatening her life. Now, are you kidding me? I mean, this was ridiculous. He was no more threatening her life than anything. I mean, she lost her job at a financial company. She should have.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I mean, unless she can come up with some sort of PTSD from a past experience, she seriously needs therapy. She seriously needs help. It was ridiculous. And I am praising this Christian Cooper because he was just a champ.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool cucumber.
For people who did not see that on the video, he never raised his voice.
Yeah.
His tone was very calming, trying to calm her down.
Yes.
Never uttered one thing that could have been vicious or mean or anything. And I'll tell you what, she just, I hopefully in her life sometime in the past, she's had a bad experience like Grace said, and there's a reason for this, because the way she reacted was totally out of character. And how can we proceed forward with race relations if we've got people out there acting like this? I mean, totally uncalled for. And I mean, it's not like this guy was, had dreads down to the ground and was, had two guns sticking out of his pants or, looked threatening or anything like that. He looked like a bird watcher.
How threatening are bird watchers?
Oh,
I don't think too many bird watchers knock off liquor stores either.
Yeah. So it was very sad. It was very alarming, and there is a certain amount of people, in the United States, around the world, that are quite racist. Okay, that amount of people exists in every walk of life. And that kind of brings it full circle to this George Floyd issue in Minnesota.
Right. Where
these cops basically killed this black man.
Yeah.
And they said he was threatening them. He was trying to avoid arrest. And the video proves otherwise. 4 cops were fired. This man is dead. The DOJ says... the president gave this to the DOJ and the FBI and said this is priority. I mean, people are in the streets looting in Minneapolis.
Right.
This was a horrible thing. There are racist cops, obviously. I don't think they necessarily exist in a greater amount than as in the general population. I hope not. They should be dealt with. I don't think we can assume all cops are racist, but this is getting ridiculous. These 2 incidents just take your breath away.
Yeah, this is terrible. I'm sure that, and I'm just guessing here, that I know because the black community has their odds, their numbers are up for committing crimes, okay? That's bad. However, these cops cannot prejudge every black man and think that he is a criminal or has committed a crime or has done something bad. And apparently these guys just...
We also
went
can't
berserk.
kill somebody over a petty crime.
No,
I mean, you absolutely can't. You know, if anything, let them walk, run away. Don't kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I'm sure this is something we'll be talking more about in the future. Sometimes it seems like you all do better than we do up there in Canada, but I don't know. Then others tell me that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about this. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, anyhow,
Seriously.
it's very hard to talk about.
It is hard
It
to
really
talk about.
is. So, okay, we will carry on to and this has to do with racism too, in a way. The House passed 413-1 sanctions for China over their torture and detention of Muslims. This is going to the president's desk. I guess they're hoping for a signature. I don't know if he's going to give one or not. My question is, okay, I agree they should have done that, but why did they not include sanctions over COVID-19 and the mishandling? How can they go after China on this and not COVID-19?
Right. Too hard to prove.
You may have a point.
Yeah. Like we said earlier, there's so much misinformation, and everybody thinks they're right. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you prove who's right and who's wrong?
I think China should just, that just makes me ill that we let them get away with things, and I'm tired of them controlling us. Like I said on the show last week, I'm tired of them having the power to control our medicine, control a lot of our industry, control a lot of our products. I don't trust them. How do you trust a communist country? At a moment's notice, they could cut us off and put us in a world of hurt, and I don't like it to be dependent upon anyone.
Right.
I believe in working in conjunction, but dependency on a communist country, not happy with it. Don't want it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Americans don't like buying food online. They don't like buying food and picking it up at the grocery store or having it delivered. They want to buy their food in person.
I can see that.
I mean, who wants somebody to pick out their bananas for them or their lettuce?
I can guarantee you that Grace wants to pick out her own tomatoes.
Oh yeah, I'm very
telling
picky
you,
about those darn tomatoes.
I've been an observer for many years now. And she wants to touch and feel and
Yeah,
and also,
I can be very picky about those avocados and those tomatoes. I can stand there for 2 minutes.
Betcha. She wants the best ones.
That's true. So here's one you guys love. Cocktails to go. Now, almost every state and municipality has allowed them through the coronavirus, mostly to boost business at restaurants and bars. Will this stay or will it go?
I want it to stay.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, how often do you go up and have a cocktail made and bring it home?
No, I'm not going to. But if they're going to do that, remember back in the day when you could always, if you didn't finish your cocktail, or if you wanted one to go, you could get one.
Oh, I remember that.
Nowadays, they don't do that. They say it's against the law.
With you.
Yeah.
So,
One for the road.
yeah.
Or one for the ditch. Whatever it
yeah.
may be.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's a good idea.
No, it's probably, all joking aside, it's probably not a good idea, but
No.
I think it'll be a while because I think these bars and restaurants are so need the money. Anything they can do to make a buck, I think it's going to be hard to.
Well, the coronavirus isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still not going out to eat. I'm still not going to a bar. I mean, I'm going to a lot of places, but there's a lot of places I won't go.
Bars, a lot of bars.
or nail salons, for
A lot
sure.
of bars and cabarets up here in Canada have already shut their doors and saying they're not coming back. So they were already struggling before this with the, drunk driving laws. People aren't, going out and drinking as much. And so they were already suffering financially. And this was just the nail in the coffin.
You bet.
That's true. Well, apparently, that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a new world.
You bet. I agree with you there.
Yeah, and we don't always agree, but life's a journey, and we're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor. Godspeed to all of our listeners out there.
Godspeed you too, and everyone, thanks for listening.
See ya.